Before the break, we told you about the Philadelphia homeowner who turned the tables and tried to foreclose on his bank. Usually the bank forecloses on you. He foreclosed on his bank. The man, Patrick Rogers, is joining us live right now. So, Patrick, thank you for joining us. You're becoming like a folk hero among homeowners, especially those who are stressed about paying their mortgages. But there's been some resolution to this case, hasn't there?
There has been some resolution. I did receive a call from a very senior person at Wells Fargo on Friday. We had a cordial conversation for about 40 minutes, and she asked me all about the problems I've been having with the bank, and she pledged to me that she would look into them and that we would have another phone conversation on Monday to see what resolutions we might explore. So I wouldn't call anything done yet, but I am cautiously optimistic that there will be some resolution. As far as the municipal,
hang on. So you had a
Sure.
on, Patrick. You had a phone call. So originally you had a court appearance that's scheduled for next week. Do you think this case will still be going on if it hadn't gotten so much publicity? And do you think you're still going to have to go to court after receiving that phone call?
No, there won't be a court appearance next week because the first thing that happened is when the story broke here locally in the Inquirer, Wells Fargo overnighted me a check the very next day to pay off the judgment. So they've paid their judgment, and as such, I'm not going to be able to foreclose on them anymore, which I have mixed feelings about. I'm certainly not happy to have the money, but the prospect of a sheriff's sale was kind of entertaining in its own way as well.
Okay, Patrick, let's start from the beginning. So we'll take a look at your house now, and as we're looking at the picture of your home, which is beautiful.
Thank you.
What happened? So the bank wants to foreclose on you, and then what do you say? Hey, I'm not going to let this happen. And then what would you do?
No, I had homeowners insurance, and suddenly my insurance company told me that Wells Fargo wanted me to insure for the replacement value of the house. And the house that I live in is 100 years old. There's some great stone. There's some wonderful woodwork. I paid about $180,000 for it some years ago. And to replace it brick by brick, stone by stone, would cost about $1 million. And Wells Fargo said, all right, you're going to have to carry $1 million worth of homeowners insurance. And I said, there's no way that I would do that. And they said, well, if you don't do it, we're going to do it for you. And I said, you're on. So I refused to renew that policy at $1 million, and they did what's called force placing insurance on my property. And once they did that, then there were irregularities that started with their accounting and their billing. And when I noticed these irregularities on my mortgage statement, that's when I started writing letters, and that's when the court case started to come into play.
Okay. So they said that you didn't have enough insurance on the home, so they were going to foreclose on it because they didn't want to insure it, right? Is that correct? Foreclosure
hadn't really come into it. They wanted to see me carry this $1 million insurance policy, and I said, no way.
All right. So how much, can you talk about how much you got in the judgment?
The judgment was for $1,000 plus costs, and that $1,000 represents the maximum penalty that, under this law, the RESPA law that you mentioned earlier in the lead into the segment. That RESPA law, for an individual, you can get up to $1,000, and that's the award that I got. And then there were court costs on top of that. And since Wells Fargo didn't pay that judgment, I had fees involved in getting a sheriff's levy on their office here in downtown Philadelphia. All of their office equipment and furniture, computers, photocopier, it was all placed under a sheriff's levy. And when they still didn't pay, I ordered a sheriff's sale on all of their property. And all of these costs are costs that are reimbursable to me.
And so you were going to take them to the bank. Well, Patrick Rogers, I have to say that you're a hero to a lot of people, and thank you for coming on. Let us know what happens with the bank, and we'll get you back on when we figure out what's going on.
I'll keep you posted. Thank you for having me.
All righty. Let's move on now. He is one of 43 drivers